If anybody should ask you what did the leaves look like on the last day of September 2006, you can tell them this is what they look like in beautiful downtown Chazy. This is Calvin Castine. It's about 5:15 to 5:20 p.m. on Saturday, the 30th day of September, and we are in Chazy for the first game of a doubleheader, which is actually just part of a long day of soccer here in Chazy. Bolton Eagles are here to play the Eagles in a girl-boy doubleheader, but my understanding that they've had modified and JV games going on prior to this. I know there was a game going on when we arrived, and it's forcing this game to start a little bit late. It's the Chazy Eagles and Bolton Eagles, and Joey Trombley will be introducing the lineups in a moment, so don't go away. It's coming up right here, right now on Hometown Cable.
Let's meet the Bolton players. Senior, Kristen Anthony. Senior, Kelsey Dutra. Senior, Lauren Quiggin. Senior, Kristen Tiger. Senior, Christina Stromberg. Junior, Kathleen Kotsky. Junior, Andrea Anderson. Junior, Alexandra Ronnig. Junior, Allie Gribb. Junior, Carol Ann Fitzgerald. Junior, Kelsey Nisha. Sophomore, Kathy Bliley. Freshman, Beth Fisher. Freshman, Taylor Cronquist. And Bolton is led by Coach Francesco. Now let's meet our Chazy Eagles! Junior, Marie Trombley. Junior, Christy Jolokin. Senior, Samantha O'Hagan. Sophomore, Shawnee Trombley. Ninth grader, Victoria Reynolds. 11th grader, Alex Jeffers. 11th grade, Gabby Whedon. 11th grade, Jessie Blake. 12th grader, Ashley Levine. 11th grader, Brittany Goodrow. 11th grader, Samantha Levine. 9th grade, Morgan Rusi. 11th grade, Catherine Old. 10th grade, Madeline Gay. 11th grade, Katrina Reynolds. 11th grade, Kristen Parker. 11th grade, Heather Gay. 12th grade, Helen Giroux. 10th grade, Bridget Dahl. 11th grade, Allie Mitchell. 12th grade, Chelsea House. 12th grade, Caitlin Howley. 8th grade, Astrid Campanen. 12th grade, Dana Ledoux. 11th grade, Whitney Wilson. And the Eagles of Chazy are coached by Coach Joe Doolin and assistant coach Jesse Trombley. Tonight's game will be called by Larry Bayshard and Jim Lacey. Please stand and remove your hat to honor our flag and country as you play the Star Spangled Banner. Before we start the game, we want to thank a few people for the sound system and the scoreboard. They're very instrumental to have what we have here tonight. We want to thank Jefford Still, Ray Devins, John Devins, Dan Pesco, Rick Cromley, Tom Cromley, Tim Howley, Frank Bowler, Hines Electric, Triangle Electric, John Foley, Chazy Westport Telephone, Giroux Poetry, John Labrador, and Prim Hall. Let's give a big hand to all these people, please.
Welcome to George Brendler Field for the game between the Chazy Eagles and the Bolton Eagles. Chazy is ranked #1 in the state of New York with an undefeated record, the same record as the boys, who are ranked #1 and undefeated also. I think it's the first time in Chazy soccer that both boys and girls have been ranked #1 in the state. Chazy has been playing very well this year. A lot of their games have been high scoring. It's a very talented team from Chazy this year. Every year they do well, but they seem to have something special going on this year with their team. Bolton is a powerhouse in the Southern League. They made the trip up here. Last year they came up for the dedication for the George Brendler Field, and they came up again this year. They seem to make the trip once a year. We're early going here in the first half, and Helen Giroux, she's a prolific scorer for Chazy, and the goalie came out and made a nice save. Helen Giroux would have got to that. She probably would have put that ball away. It seems like every game Helen scores 3 or 4 goals, and that's playing about half the game. Right now, the ball is at center field, controlled by number 8 for the Bolton Eagles, which would be Beth Fisher. It'll take me a while to learn their names. I'm not used to these girls. Out to the wing, and it will be Bolton ball. Fisher controls the ball, looking for some help. She does pass it back, sent to the center field, and controlled by Chazy. Dana Ledoux has the ball, being challenged by Beth Fisher, and the ball goes out, and it'll be Bolton ball. Caitlin Halley pushes it out to Levine. Levine looking up for Kempinen. Goes down the wing. Kempinen controls the ball. Looking center field. Goes back to Halley. Halley sends it down. Trying to get number 20 through Kempinen, but intercepted by Bolton. Halley tries to send it up and hits Levine. And the ball is controlled by Kempinen. Being challenged from Bolton. She passes it back to Halley. Halley sends it down the line and knocked out by Bolton. Samantha Levine will throw it in for Chazy, passes it back to Halley. Halley controls, looks down, tries to hit Helen Giroux. Ball's tipped, and it goes to Victoria Reynolds. Giroux in the box, we're at the 18-yard line. Reynolds loads up, and saved by the goalie from Bolton. Fisher knocks it out for Bolton. It'll be Chazy ball. Bridget Dahl over to Victoria Reynolds, who loses her foot and gets back up real quick. Victoria Reynolds is just a freshman for Chazy. She started last year as a 8th grader, has a lot of talent. These girls are very athletic all across from the line to the midfielders. They control the ball very well. But Bolton is holding their own early in the early going here. Fisher is going down, being chased by Ledoux. Gets by. It'll be Chazy ball. Dana Ledoux with the throw in. Hits Reynolds. Reynolds has the ball on the line, makes a nice move, but it goes out. She lost control, and it goes back to Bolton. Bolton is in the Chazy end. There is only one shot on net so far, and that was from Chazy. And that was with an on-Russian Helen Giroux, the leading scorer in the section.
Take a shot! Okay, let's win that ball! Drop West, find your player!
Helen Giroux press midfield.
Stay with her!
Sends it over to the center, over to trying to hit Madeline Gay. Madeline Gay pushes it through, and offside's called on Ostry Kempinen. Kelsey Dutra sends it to the midfield. Beth Fisher trying to get the ball. She does for Bolton. Ball tipped away, and Victoria Reynolds controls it over to Dana Ledoux. Dana Ledoux tries to hit, and she does find Madeline Gay. Madeline Gay doing some nice footwork, pushing it down the wing for a fast Victoria Reynolds. But good defense by Bolton, who clears it out, and good play for Bolton. They're going to reset on their defense. Chazy has a high-powered offense, and that's probably a pretty good strategy against this team. Madeline Gay working the ball, trying to clear it up. Shoshani Trombley has the ball, pushing it over to the center, and intercepted by Bolton. The ball is cleared to midfield, and Brittany Goodrow has the ball, pushes over to Dana Ledoux. Dana Ledoux tries to find Victoria Reynolds. She does. Victoria Reynolds has some space, sends it over to midfield to Madeline Gay, who gets it, pushes it to the open field, where Levine pushes it to the wing to Ostry Kempinen, who's rushing to get it before it goes out of bounds, has plenty of time. She's looking to cross it over. Cross goes over, keeper calls it, and the keeper has it. Good try by Ostry Kempinen. Good ball movement by Chazy. It started at midfield, switched fields and down the line, and they got a corner kick in, if you will. Beth Fisher controls it for Bolton. She pushes up the line, but intercepted by Dana Ledoux. Dana Ledoux is being chased. He tries to hit Madeline Gay, and it goes to number 10. Who cleared it was Kelsey Nisha. Dana Ledoux controls the ball, looking to get by number 27, which would be Kristen Anthony. 14, Madeline Gay has the ball. She looks to get the ball past the defense with Helen Giroux. Helen Giroux is taken out trying to get by the Bolton defense. And it will be a direct kick for Chazy as Helen Giroux was taken down pretty hard. Giroux sends the ball high on top of the net. And it'll be goal kick Bolton. Levine takes the kick from the goalie, sends it to the wing over to Ostry Kempinen. Kempinen will try to hit Giroux. Giroux is the all-time leading scorer in the area. In her senior year, has that distinct title. A very fun player to watch. She's a finisher, there's no doubt about that. Madeline Gay sends it in toward the net and rushes on. Good hustle by Madeline Gay. Samantha Levine sends it in, and the goalie has it. She'll run out to the 18-yard line to punt it to midfield, or she'll try to get it to midfield. And a pretty good kick. But it does go out, and Dana Ledoux will take it in for Chazy. Over to Shani Trombley. Nice move by Trombley. Carrying the ball, pushing it up, trying to hit Victoria Reynolds. And a good clearance pass by Bolton. Dana Ledoux, she seems to be in a lot of the action early on here. Over to Madeline Gay. Gay trying to pop it in. Ostry Kempinen rushing in, but the goalie gets it. The ball is a little too far in front of Ostry. And the goalie makes a nice play, punts it to the side. Samantha Levine heads the ball, headed back. She pushes it back to Hallie. Hallie sends it over to Helen Giroux off her back. And controlled by number 15, Kathleen Totsky of Bolton, and passes up to center to, I think, Fisher. Fisher gets it over to Christine Tiger, but it's intercepted by number 19 for Chazy, Bridget Dahl. Over to Dana Ledoux, who gets by her defender, but a little too far, and it goes out of bounds, and it will be Bolton ball. We have played 9 minutes here in the first half. Chazy has outshot Bolton 4-0, but the score is still 0-0. Coming in for Bolton is Ali Grib. And coming off for Bolton, I'll tell you in a second. Shani Trombley over to Reynolds, a nice give and go. Back to Shani Trombley. And she came in for Kristen Anthony. Ball knocked out. Throw in for Chazy.
On that Helen Drew being the leading scorer, it happened a week ago, Joey, against St. Lawrence. She got total points. She's now ahead of Kelly O'Connell, who played for Seton Catholic back in the early days of Seton Catholic, back when Susie Pazer was the goalie. And KO has been the leading scorer up until now. And she also passed her in an away game on Monday for the most goals. So she got the most points, which includes assists, and she's got the most goals. And she will be honored after today's game, and she doesn't know about that.
That is true. They tipped me off too, Calvin, that they're going to honor her tonight. It should be a special tribute. Her parents are in the stands tonight, as well as her grandparents.
As they usually are.
As they usually are. And the rest of Chazy, as they usually are. Chazy has a strong following for the boys and girls program. Oh, ball was pushed, nice pass, but the person that we're talking about, Helen Giroux, was called for the offsides. Number 16 for Kelsey Dutra for Bolton tried to take the kick, but she kicked it out of bounds. Coach Francesco is not real happy with that kick right there. Chazy ball. Calvin, it's kind of like a slow-paced game right now, doesn't it feel that way?
Yeah, it looks like neither team can get in gear. It's been a long day, and I saw your misses in Moores. There's a lot of soccer going on in Moores today, too.
Yeah, we had a busy day. Mara was playing in a Pee Wee tournament up in Moores, and I guess I saw the first game, then I had to get back. Sagan had a JV game here at 11 o'clock. And then I'm here for this game, and then for the boys play, Galen plays for the varsity, and they play tonight against Bolton boys.
Wasn't that an incredible sight in Moores today with the athletic field? The number of cars. I drove down La Valley Road, and they were backed up both sides of the road all the way up past the cemetery. When I left going down Route 11, they were way past the field on both sides of the road. And that was only one of 3 fields that were being used for the 3rd annual Luann Dragoon Roxanne Dumas Memorial Tournament. Just tremendous.
Well, I'll tell you, Calvin, I drove into that mess, and it was incredible. They do a wonderful job up there with their program, and it is the 3rd year, and we've been involved with the program for 3 years too with them, and they just do a wonderful job. I think it's the biggest number of teams that they've had so far to date.
Oh yeah, definitely, because they used to have it at one site, just at the school. Well, last year they had it at the school, they had it in Morris Forks, and they had it there. And when I drove up there, I was just so impressed. Then I found out there's 2 other sites. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, they were playing up at the school, and then they were also playing in Morris Forks at the rec park. So 3 fields. There was, if I'm not mistaken, about 40 teams represented.
There were, you got to figure at least 15 players per team. You figure that's 600 kids. That's just a tremendous thing. And I was told that we all know Chazy's got a pile of soccer teams, but Moores had 16 teams represented in that tournament at different levels.
Boy, that's nice to see. And they got a strong program up there. I mean, their boys and girls are doing very well this year at the varsity level. And it's their feeder program. They have a strong feeder program as well as Chazy. Dana Ledoux will be taking it out around the midfield area. She is looking, I think she's looking for Victoria Reynolds. She finds her and knocked out by Bolton. Oh, what a nice play by Madeline Gay. She pushes over to Helen Giroux, making her move, has a shot on the net, and just like that, Helen Giroux just adds to her resume on a beautiful pass from Madeline Gay, and it's 1-0 Chazy. She scores at the 26:01 mark of the first half.
Pretty much the same way it was with Justin Seymour last year. Every time she scores a goal, it's a new record for the Section 7.
Yeah, I know. It is pretty impressive. Tonight in the boys' game, Nolan Ryan is 3 goals away from the record, from Justin's record as a junior. Okay, we're getting ready to start. Helen Giroux had a beautiful goal and then a beautiful assist from Madeline Gay. Bolton passes it back. They're down 1-0. Bolton is one of the stronger teams in the Southern Division, and it's very nice that they come up to play us like this every year. Caitlin Halley sends it down, trying to get Austri Kempinen. Austri will control the ball. She's looking. Levine going down the line. A beautiful pass by Kempinen over to Samantha Levine. Ball knocked out by Bolton. It will be a Chazy throw-in.
Particularly at a Class D level, when you hear these names and you see them playing softball and you see them playing basketball, you hear some of those names over and over again.
Well, with a small school, a lot of these kids do play 2 and 3 sports. You know, they have to. There's not that many kids to choose from.
That happens at the bigger schools too, but particularly at Class D schools.
Well, I was talking to Joe Southwick. He was coaching actually one of the teams down there today in Moores, and he was impressed that Chazy has over 300 kids involved in the soccer program. And jokingly he goes, "Don't you only have like 300 kids in Chazy?" Which was kind of funny. Just Chazy is well attended in Chazy, and every year they seem to do well. The last couple years have been pretty magical for the girls and boys. Last year the girls did make it to the Final Four. It was a really good year. They just fell short, but definitely nothing to be ashamed of. And this team could definitely build on that, what happened last year.
Well, I think so. I think it's a confidence builder. Every time one team takes you to a certain plateau, then it makes it that much easier for the teams that follow to have that confidence that knowing they can do it.
Well, I noticed that last year in the Final Four with the boys, that they were playing a team from Poland, and you could see with the how the Chazy boys were acting compared to the Poland boys, who were kind of giddy just to be there, where the Chazy boys were really focused at the task at hand. I think that had made a big difference into the outcome of what happened. Bolton controls the ball. Samantha Levine, nice play. She comes down the line, pushes it up for Austri Kempinen, but good hustle by Bolton, number 14, which would have been Taylor Cronquist. And the ball gets in Helen Drew, ever dangerous Helen Drew in the 18-yard line in the box. And Madeline Gay tries to hit the far corner, but the goalie was there. It would have been just a little wide, but a nice feed back by Helen Drew. One thing I noticed about this team this year, Calvin, is that they're a very unselfish team.
That's what the team should be all about, particularly in a sport like soccer. It shouldn't matter who scores as long as we score.
Absolutely, and what I've noticed with the line and the midfield with Chazy, they don't care. I mean, if the person's open, they're going to give the pass more often than not to the person who has the higher percentage of making that shot.
Yeah, in last week's game, last week is the only time I've seen the Eagles in person, but after Helen Drew had a few goals in, she was kind of begging somebody else to put it in. She just, almost like she was embarrassed to keep shooting.
Yeah, she did have one whale of a game last week. And you're right. I think at a certain point she just wants to spread the wealth around, and she does.
Yeah, she was feeding the ball. She had opportunities, and she just wanted to get everybody involved.
I mean, she's the all-time leading section leader now in goals and points. And can you imagine if she could finish off many more times where she doesn't?
Yeah, well, she'd have, instead of 1 point for an assist, she'd have 2 points for a goal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Chazy has been controlling much of the play here. Bolton came out a little strong, but Chazy has been controlling the ball. And you know what, Calvin, I think for teams that come in here, especially knowing that Chazy is ranked number 1, they were in the Final Four last year, there's got to be somewhat of an intimidation factor, I would think.
I think so, and I think this new field adds to that. The aura of being here, and the crowd. There's a lot of things I think that would intimidate. It's kind of like going into not similar scale wise, but like going into Yankee Stadium and playing a team like that.
And and things we can't forget. These are still kids. Young adults, I should say. I don't want to call them kids, but they're young adults. And it is pretty impressive to come into a field like this. I mean, the field was in honor of George Brendler, and we know he is the father of Chazy soccer, if you will. And
we wouldn't be standing here right now if it weren't for George. Let's be honest. It just wouldn't have happened.
Oh, absolutely. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And I think that was wonderful that the ceremony they had last year for him.
Yep. And it's nice. Unfortunately, you and I are the only ones who can't see the sign, but there's a nice sign right in front of us here on the booth that tells everybody who's sitting in the bleachers, this is George Brendler Field.
But you know, as successful as Chazy has been through the years, and it's been many years now, it is almost fitting they have a facility like this for the amount of people that are involved in the program.
And many people would say it was about time, because people would come here and they know Chazy's reputation, and they'd play on that field that's the other side of those trees, and they'd go up a hill and down a hill and step on a rock, and you know, and it was just hard for them to fathom that a team of that caliber didn't have a manicured field. But it's a perfectly fine soccer field, but having a field like this, I think, just adds to the class of the team.
I would say, I mean, obviously Plattsburgh State's a beautiful facility, and PHS has done a wonderful job. But as far as a field with grass, this has to be the nicest facility around.
Definitely a lot nicer than my friends in Pickett's Corners when it's 15 degrees colder up there than it is the rest of the world. But I guess that's a hard field, from what I've told. I haven't played any soccer on it. But, so this has to be, because, well, Rob McCall probably spends at least part of every day in the summer up here mowing or doing something to it.
Well, I heard Rob pitches a tent here and when it's really nice out. And I say that jokingly, but Rob McCullough and Brian Norcross, they spent a lot of time here this summer. The field was in great shape last year for just starting out, but this year it's just in absolutely gorgeous shape.
You know, and I think, you know, for years the Seton Field was the only field with lights. And ironically, I was there for a game earlier this week, and they're having problems with their lights, and the days of the lit field at Seton Catholic could very well be over from what it might cost to get the electrical problem taken care of. But if we go back about 15 years ago, Ron Rivard started talking before that about putting up lights at Northeastern Clinton, and I was one of those that just kind of laughed it off as if that would be an impossible dream. And within a year he had them up. I think it went up to 91. And I think that was a spur for other areas. I think you look at Saranac, you look at Plattsburgh, you look at Chazy, and when they saw that Northeastern could do it, they say, why can't we?
Oh, absolutely. Northeastern was definitely the front runner in that, and I think they were actually quite seriously the envy of the league. I mean, other than Seton, that they were able to play games at 6 o'clock. And, you know, when you look at it at a practical standpoint, you have these kids who go to school. It's nice that they can have a later game, go home, have a dinner, maybe work on some homework, and it's good for the fans. Working parents can finally now see a game. When the games were starting at 4:30, a lot of people just could not make those games.
Yeah, or they get there halfway through, but now they can, and with the food booths that run at the ball games, they can not have to worry about supper when they get home. They can enjoy it while they're here.
Absolutely.
And support the field at the same time.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. What would you venture a guess for fans out there right now in the early going here? A couple hundred?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say a couple hundred, and that's pretty impressive for a Class D game. Well, we're 17 minutes and 22 seconds left here in the first half. Chazy is ahead 1-0 by the all-time leading scorer Helen Giroux, and she was assisted by Madeline Gay. The shots on net are 8 shots for Chazy, 0 for Bolton at this time. I can't see what's going on over there. I would put my head in your camera.
It's a Chazy ball.
That's all I know. There, I see it now. Okay, number 10. That would have been Kelsey Nisha for Bolton, who just had the ball. But right now, Madeline Gay has it for Chazy. Pushes it up. Nice header there from number 11, which was Christina Stromberg. But Shawnee Trombley has it and pushes it up to number 18, and we know that number very well. That's Helen Giroux. She'll make the move. She's in the box. She can finish. And she does. Helen Giroux adds goal number 2 on a beautiful pass from Shawnee Trombley, and Helen Giroux finishes it off.
And the kid that was no longer a kid, obviously. The young lady that she passed, O'Connell, she was about, height-wise, about the same size as Helen Giroux. She wasn't a great big 5'10" girl either. She was not all that tall, but she was very solid and a real hard-nosed player. And Hasn't got Kelly's girth. Not that Kelly was fat or anything, but she was she was solid, and she would just put her head down and go for that goal. And I think Helen's years on the ice with the hockey has improved her as a soccer player.
Well, Helen is very athletic, beautiful foot skills. And when you got foot skills, height means nothing in soccer. If you can control the ball on the ground, and she does that. I mean, Chazy does that. They're well coached by Coach Dumoulin. And when you're watching the girls play, it's almost a mirror image of the boys with their pass work. They pass the ball very well. I was commenting earlier this year on how well the girls were passing, because I just had not seen that at the girls' level, the passing work that I see like right now. Look at that. They've had 3-4 touches already. Remember the old days of the boot ball? You just don't see that here now.
Well, yeah, and let's watch. I think of Luann and Dragoon and Roxy Dumas. At the mite level, they used to call it magnet ball, because wherever the ball was, you would have 20 kids around it. And unfortunately, a lot of high school teams are like that too. It's magnet ball instead of soccer.
Well, you bring up that magnet ball, and as parents who have kids playing out the upper level, it just seems like yesterday that we were at the town level with these kids, just teaching them the game, and it was magnet ball. I mean, you're trying to just tell them where to stand, much less have any foot skills. It was just trying to get to know the field and where to stand. And now here we are years later, and then we're watching these same kids that we coach at the town level, now playing at the varsity level. Oh, the ball. Victoria Reynolds almost hit Morgan Rusey, but it was a good defensive play by Bolton. Chazy's got a 10-0 shots on net. Oh, that would be, I think, a penalty kick. That's exactly what it is. An on-rushing Shawnee Trombley was taken down in the box. And do you think Coach Dumoulin will let Shawnee take it? What do you think?
He's got a 2-0 lead. I always lean, he's going to probably, it looks like he's going to let Helen take it, but if you've got a game where you think you're going to win it, I'd let the kid who got hurt or got knocked down take it. But he obviously thinks that Helen's his best penalty kicker, and he figures this game isn't in the books yet.
And Helen nonchalantly, at least what it looked like from up here, just picks the right-hand corner, and she has a hat trick, and it took her all of 25 minutes and 19 seconds to do it, Calvin.
Yeah, and I like that Helen doesn't show any great emotion here. You don't see the girls ever take their shirts off, but you see the guys sometimes. In fact, the state had to come down and say, you can't do that. You can't hot dog it, take your shirt off, run around the field. It's just show some class. You score. That's what you're supposed to do.
Well, when you see Helen on the field, that's the person she is off the field. And no showboating. She does her job. She comes back, doesn't rub it into the opponent's face. And I mean, with someone with that kind of skill, I guess you could do that, but she doesn't. And that just says a lot about her as a player and as a person. It's been complete domination, 3-0, 11 shots to none in the first half. Morgan Rusey trying to hit Helen Giroux, who already has 3 goals. Ball's hit to midfield, and controlled by 19 would be Bridget Dahl. Player down for Bolton. It looks like Christine Tiger is down on the Bridget Dahl foul. Kathleen Totsky, she'll take the direct kick for Bolton. Chazy's back on defense, and Totsky sends the ball in toward the box over Ledoux's head. Shawnee Trombley clears it out, but it goes to number 16, Kelsey Dutra, who sends it back into the box. Chazy trying to maintain control. Rusey pushes it up, trying to hit Helen Giroux, and the ball is cleared off to the right sideline. And a collision by Dana Ledoux and a player for Bolton, and the Bolton player's down. Totsky taking the kick for Bolton again. She sends it in, and it goes wide out of bounds. Goal kick for Chazy. I didn't even notice that. All right, 13 minutes to go. 3-0 for Chazy. 11 shots on net. Bolton has yet to have a shot on net. It's been pretty much dominated by Chazy. Dana Ledoux sees some space. She's taken up to midfield, trying to clear it over. And Madeline Gay sends it to the wing. And on rushing Morgan Rusi and Helen Giroux taking charge. Rusi intercepts. Looking to pass it over, moving the ball around, back to the wing. And there goes Caitlin Halley. It looks like Caitlin Halley for Chazy. Or is it? No, it's Ashley Levine. Number 9. Am I looking at the right number there, Calvin? Or is it 6? 6, Alex Jeffords. I'm going to have to use your bifocals there, Calvin. Okay. Jeffords gets the ball back in to Rusi. Rusi doing some nice footwork back to Jeffords. Jeffords looking over, sends it to the center, trying to hit Samantha Levine. Levine has the ball, trying to hit Helen. Shawnee Trombley chips it into the box. And the goalie for Bolton is Fitzgerald, and she grabs the ball. Coach Francisco wanted Fitzgerald to hit Fisher, but she didn't hear him. And a beautiful pass over. Helen's got the ball. Oh, nice shot. Good save by Fitzgerald. Good save by Helen Drew from having it going out. And a good save by Fitzgerald. It was a beautiful pass from Victoria Reynolds. And it is Chazy ball. You know, Calvin, it seems that Jim Lacey's been doing this for a long time. It seems like he was there when I was going through high school.
Not sure if he was roughing then. It might have been the years when he was at Clinton. He was a coach and teacher at Clinton for a while, and he left the area.
Bridget Dahl over to Victoria Reynolds. Helen Giroux has the ball in the box, but knocked away. It should be a corner, and it is. Larry Bayshard calls corner kick. Chazy will be getting her second corner kick. Jessie Blake came in for Morgan Rusi on the corner kick. Helen Giroux sends it in, beautiful loft shot. Fitzgerald knocks it away, and controlled by Bolton, pushes it out to Fisher. But Bridget Dahl takes it away from Fisher. They're fighting for the ball. Dahl wins it. Jessie Mae Blake sends it to the net. Victoria Reynolds intercepts it, and she's regrouping. Beautiful move by Reynolds. Sends it back to the box. Fisher knocks it away. Number 10, Nisha, sends it up, but controlled by Chazy. Bridget Dahl pushes it over to Shawnee Trombley, but Fisher hits it to midfield, and Dana Ledoux is there. She controls the ball. Sends it across the opposite end, and over to number 3, which would be Samantha O'Hagan. She pushes it up to Victoria Reynolds and cleared by Bolton. Fisher trying to hit number 17, which would be Andrea Anderson. Shauna Trombley over to midfield trying to hit Jessie Blake. Shawnee's got the ball. And Dana Ledoux. Nice footwork by Shawnee Trombley. Sends it down. Trying to play for the break. Victoria Reynolds trying to go through. Going hard. But Fitzgerald comes out and makes the play. We're down to 8.5 minutes left in the first half. And Calvin, it has definitely been all Chazy so far in the first half.
Yeah, it's a long bus ride for Bolton. They're probably wishing they'd went to the big garage sale in Warrensburg today instead.
Drew with the ball. What will she do now? Just pops it in for Jessie Blake. And Jessie Blake just missed it. But a nice pass by Helen Giroux. Number 22, Caitlin Halley, getting ready to check back in when the opportunity arises. And that could be right about now.
This is the weekend of the world's biggest garage sale that happens every year in Warrensburg, you know.
It is. Well, if I'd known that, Calvin, I might be there instead of being here myself. Dana Ledoux is coming off, and Caitlin Alley is giving her a much-needed break. She's been very active back there, controlling the defensive end of it and getting the ball up to the midfielders, who just happen to find who else but Helen Giroux.
One of the many Helen Drews on the team. Obviously, there's more than one out there.
Well, you know, it's nice to see the subbing like this in a game like this, that he's rotating people in and out. It's nice to get the second shifts of people, or the reserves, if you will, because they need that playing time too, because you never know when they'll be called upon.
Just ask the Yankees.
Boy, they've come over adversity this year, huh? My God, they were down, for like 5 games at one time. They win it by 10.
Yeah, by the time this is shown, the World Series will be around the corner, but hopefully the Yankees will still be in it.
Alex Jeffords off, and Austri Kempinen came in for her. Thrown in by Samantha O'Hagan, and Austri knocks it out of bounds. It'll be Bolton ball. Kempinen takes it away from Cronquist. And Victoria Reynolds trying to hit Helen Giroux. You know, it's tough when you got a team as good as Chazy. You know, the question comes in, how long do you leave the starters in? You know, if they got to at least play half a game, I would think.
You got to give them some playing time, obviously. And yeah, it's tough when you're demolishing the other team to do that. Because if you take the big lead and take them out after 30 minutes, it's not fair to them.
Yeah, sometimes I think Chazy is a victim of their own success, at least this year in the girls' level, because they were winning games quite handily, to be frank. And, you know, so what is the happy medium as far as do you play them half a game? I mean, you know, what do? They need to have their wind kept up, because when they do hit those tough games, they got to have some playing time under their belt.
Yeah, and you've got a large number of players on the roster, so you got to find playing time for them. So it's a balancing act.
Caitlin Halley controls the ball, sends it up to the wing. Giving chase is Jessie Blake, but cleared out by Bolton. And it will be a Chazy throw-in. Number 14, Madeline Gay, getting ready to check back in. She does. And she's going in for Shawnee Trombley. Shawnee Trombley's coming off, and Madeline Gay's going back on. Well, there's a rush by Bolton. Will they get a shot off in the first half? Samantha O'Hagan steps up. A beautiful play by Samantha O'Hagan. She has some space. Dribbled it up, passed it to the center to Helen Giroux. But a good shield by the Bolton player to shield Helen away from the ball, and Bolton controlled it. But hustling Bridget Dahl. Trying to get it back to the box, but cleared out by Bolton. It will be a Chazy throw-in. You know, with the footwork of Austri Kempinen, you wouldn't believe that she's only an 8th grader, Calvin.
Well, it's like Victoria Reynolds last year. She came out as an 8th grader and did a heck of a job.
Yep, to be that skilled and to, you know, they'll have 5 years varsity experience, and that doesn't happen too often. Obviously, Helen Giroux is one of those players. This is her 5th and final year, and if she does it at the college level, I'm sure she'll have some success. Just missed another one.
Great passing, ladies.
I think Toski's the girl for Bolton that has the big foot, because she seems to take all the kicks for them. It was hit to midfield. It was controlled by Chazy. They lost it, but they got it back with Madeline Gay over to Helen Giroux. Giroux looking around, pushes it back to... Nice play of Madeline Gay. One times it over to the wing to Samantha Levine. And Jessie May Blake has the ball. Lets this shot go, but intercepted by Bolton, and Gay heads it back in. Blake has the ball. And cleared out by Bolton. Fisher made a nice move there. Made two nice moves. But Chazy hustles back. The Bolton faithful are screaming. They liked what they saw there. Of course, they haven't had much to cheer about this first half, Calvin.
They've been saving it up.
We're under 2 minutes now. It's 3-0 here in the first half. Shots on goal are 16-0. Chazy's had 2 corner kicks. I mean, it's... Calvin, look at the board, and it's nothing but goose eggs over there on the Bolton side.
The Eagles are pitching a no-hitter.
Why, I think last night's game against Crown Point didn't get a shot off either. So that will be 3 halves in a row that Chazy has kept the team from getting a shot on net. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, scary.
Can you say 4 goals in 1 half, Calvin? 1 minute, 13 seconds in. Helen, in 1 half, has 8 points. Not bad for half a night's work, Calvin.
That's going to put that sectional record higher and higher. So, and she's got another 10 games or so before the season's over.
Bolton making a rush here in the final minute of the first half. First half that's been completely controlled by Chazy. They're up 4-0 on 4 Helen Giroux goals. Chazy has controlled the tempo of the game, has controlled the midfield, basically has controlled every part of the game. And we're down to the final 50 seconds here. And Jim Lacey says Chazy ball. Austri Kempinen throws to the corner to Victoria Reynolds, who controls, making her move. Just killing some time. Tries to send it across, and Fitzgerald gets the ball for Bolton. And what can Bolton do at the half to regroup, Calvin?
Have a few hot dogs at the at the booth.
And the first half comes to an end with Chazy leading 4-0.
It's the halftime show, and much as they did last year, they're going to get 3 little mini games going. They're going to have kids kicking the ball. 3 little sideways games going. Looks like one of these teams needs an opponent here. They've got 3 teams at this end, 2 teams in the middle, only 1 team down here, so there we go. This green team is making their way over. We'll just keep the camera moving, and we'll just give the kids some kind of a look here, I guess. This is a big field, and when you're only 3 feet tall, this field is twice as big as it is for a grown-up. So this has got to be a huge field when these kids come out and look at it. Of course, they'll be going sideways here. They'll be going in a sideways direction, I think. I don't know. They've got a gray team and a blue team over here, or at least portions thereof. They got a red team and a green team doing their stretches here. They should have done their stretches. This is time for the kicking the ball around there. It's only a halftime here. It's only supposed to be I guess they're giving them, I don't know what the clock says, 12 minutes, and they haven't started the clock yet. So it's going to be well over a 10-minute half. Bolton probably says, let's get this one in the book so we can get the kids on the bus. Go home. Head for Warrensburg tomorrow for the garage sale. When the players warm up, everybody warms up. So it looks like there's going to be 4 games, not 3 here, or what? Or just I don't know what we got. We got a green team here, a red team here, green team there, orange team there. We got a game going on over here, so let's go. We got the clock is ticking, so we'll spend a few minutes, maybe a minute here. We'll spend a minute on this game, and we'll move over. Okay, those are those kids. I'll move over to this next group here. We got a goalie back here. And the ball is way on the other side over here. Like they're interloping on the play area of the Brian Norcross trying to direct traffic out there. Alright, I'll go over to this group and see if they're going to play. Well, it looks like they're playing that away. Hopefully we won't get one game overlapping into another game. Alright, now we'll go to the other group, the final group. Uh-oh. Oh, what a save. What a save by the goalie. 7:45 left in this exhibition. All right, and we'll on to the next group. We're going about 45 seconds with each group. Hopefully, if your child was participating, hopefully we were able to get a shot of them at one point or another. Time to move to the next group. Goalie is backing up. He's backing up. He's expecting the worst. What a save. Now what do I do? He's going to punt. He's going to run for a touchdown. 10 yards. Come on. Give him 10 yards here. It's like feeding time. Let's move to the next group here. Here they come. Look out. Meanwhile, these guys are back here. 2 guys on offense, 2 guys on defense. Waiting for the ball to come to them. Now let's go back over this way to the far team. Okay, now we'll go to the orange and green teams. Not quite sure the dimensions of their playing field here. They seem to be teams with no boundaries. Oh, what a trip. Let's move over to the next group here.
But they won't let you believe that with all the sports which we get killed on those. If you want to have a chance, what sport? What sport would we compete? Maybe baseball? Maybe?
very pleasant evening tonight. Temperature in the 50s. So all in all, not a bad day. We're kind of between bad weather days here. It's like they lost the ball. Got to bring it back. All right, let's see what we got left for time here. We got a minute and 30. So we'll give, I guess, 20 seconds each here. That must have been a goal. Okay, time for the next group. Coaches definitely get a workout too here. It's not for the faint-hearted. This guy's definitely into it. All right, here we go, the last group. And game's over. That's the mini games at the half here on this September 30th. Don't go away, we got the voice of Eagle Sports coming right back.
Well, we're ready to start the second half. The statistics for the first half were 18 shots on net for Chazy, 0 for Bolton. And last night, Chazy played Crown Point, and Crown Point didn't get any shots on net. So they literally have gone 3 halves of soccer in 2 days and have not given a shot on net. They're ahead 4-0 on 4 goals by Helen Giroux. Calvin, what does a coach tell a team that has been totally dominated like that in the first half? What do you say to them for the second half to get them inspired to play?
The team that's behind, I think you tell them, let's go out and have some pride and play hard, and play the best we can. And that's all you can expect from a team, to play the best they can. You know, for a year or two, I was working a little bit with some 3rd and 4th grade kids, and I said, you know, be the best you can be. Don't worry about how good somebody else can be, because you're going to be as good as you can and want to be. Some people can be better, but they don't want to be. And some people want to be, but they can't. So you're going to be as good as you can and want to be. And that's the combination that turns you into the athlete you are or the person you are.
That's very good advice, and you're 100% right. I mean, how many times you see kids out there with tons of talent, but just don't put the effort into it? And then I've seen other kids who have to work for everything that they do, and yet they have success out on the field, whether it's a baseball field, soccer field, or a basketball court, because they give 100% every time that they're out there. And I've seen talented kids who give 30%, and it shows.
Well, I think I look back at my high school days and in the classroom, some of the people who had to work the hardest have succeeded the most, even though their marks weren't that great. They got into a habit of working hard, and they've succeeded. The people who didn't have to work so hard may not have gone as far as they could have.
That is so very true. Good words of wisdom from Calvin Castine. And we got on that just as to asking, what would the coach tell a team that was totally dominant in the first half? What would you do differently? And basically be the best that you can be. And it's good advice. And I think Helen's going to get number 5, and she did. I'm sure any time that the coach will probably move her back in the defensive position, Calvin, with 5 goals. I think he would do that. What do you think?
I think I would. Whether Joe will, I don't know, but I would.
I think he will. I mean, they got this game in hand here. 5-0. Helen's got all 5 goals. And the thing is, Chazy has a very balanced attack, and any of these girls could score, and it's not because Helen's being selfish or, she's just there at the right place at the right time.
Right. And somebody's getting her the ball. I mean, she's getting it herself too, but then somebody's passing that ball. So it's not just her. Somebody's getting an assist every time.
Well, like I thought, he moved Helen back to the midfield, and he brought up Madeline Gay into the striker position, which I think is a good move as a coach. When you're ahead 5-0, you need to do that. You don't need to be building the score up. Now, if the second string comes out and scores, hey, those guys want to get out there and do the best that they can, and they should be allowed to do that.
Well, you can't stop playing. You've got to play hard. In soccer in particular, any sport that's a contact sport, when you coast out there, that's when you're taking a chance of getting hurt. You've got to play your game, but moving different people in, moving people to different positions, that's the way you can combat it. And another thing you can do is make sure your team passes the ball. Like it's just like in basketball. If the team can dominate another team and all they do is grab the ball, run down, make a layup, they're not learning anything. But if they go out there and you got to pass the ball 4 or 5 times before you shoot, then you're learning something.
You're talking about basketball, Coach John Wooden, and of course he had won 10 straight NCAA championships with UCLA. He had a rule with his guys that they had to pass the ball 4 or 5 times before they could shoot in situations like that. And he stressed that it was a team sport. And one thing Coach Wooden always said was, whoever scored the basket, make sure you acknowledge the guy that got you the ball, because you wouldn't have made it if he didn't get you the ball.
When I was coaching some 3rd and 4th graders, just practicing stuff at St. Mary's, what I would do with them if I had an odd number was, somebody had to sit out, so the kid who scored would sit out.
Every coach has a system.
So some kids wanted to score and they didn't, they'd score and sit out, but the other kids would pass the ball because they didn't want to sit out. So
You take 14, take drop forward.
it worked because there was a regular flow.
Right. And, Chazy's kind of moving the ball now. I think they're trying to pass it around a little bit. And I think you'll see Helen's the type of player she's not, I don't think, going to really be rushing the net right now at the halfback position. I think she's going to be just content trying to feed some other players who haven't scored, obviously not tonight, but probably not as much during the year, too.
Share the wealth.
Well, they should, because they do have a lot of wealth from that team this year. They're very deep, and you look at it position by position, and any one of those girls can play any of the positions out there. That's how talented they are.
Well, and you've got to have a lot of players playing with a lot of confidence, and when you get to the state playoffs, if you get that far, you can't have a one-man show because the other team's going to gear on that person. You're playing teams that are the top from their section, and you can't. You got to play these games to prepare yourself for those games. So you got to get everybody involved, get everybody playing with confidence, and not make it a one-man scoring binge here, because when it gets to crunch time, you want these other kids to have some confidence in themselves.
What you say is so true, because when you start talking about a mindset, and in Chazy, because of their success, quite frankly, their mindset is the Final Four every year, a state championship, where I think a lot of teams, their goal is if they can score a goal against Chazy or maybe even beat them that year, that makes their season. And Chazy does have lofty goals, and I think other talents could too if their mindset would change and set loftier goals for themselves.
Well, as your program succeeds and you take it to that next level, then obviously dreaming bigger is part of that. I'm sure when George Brendler came here over 40 years ago, there wasn't many dreams of being a state champions, but he took that level. He never realized it as a coach, as a state champion, but there's no question that the success that his teams had, these other teams have been able to build on that.
Well, you look at, let's get away from soccer for a minute, and let's go to Northeastern's girls basketball program. They've been a powerhouse for the past 10-plus years. And again, I was talking to Joe Southwick today up at the soccer field in Moores, and he was talking about his daughter going to basketball school or going to soccer school. And he told his daughter, he goes, basically, you may want to go to basketball school, because with the program that Northeastern has and the goals that are set for them, there's not many spots to fill. And you got to be at the best to do that. And look what that program has done up at Northeastern.
They've gone to the finals and lost. And there are a couple of teams that I think could have succeeded at that level. And I think if those teams had, then there would have been more that would have followed. I think success breeds success.
Well, you're right. I mean, once you break that barrier, I mean, up until the last, of course, we're talking the boys now. I'm going back and forth here. They're two-time state champions, but for 6 years they lost in the Final Four. And when you would talk to different teams in the state or go on the different websites and you see their emails going back and forth, they were calling us the Buffalo Bills of soccer. We couldn't win the big one, and yet we win 2 in a row, and now they're considered a dynasty, and they keep building on that. But they had to break through that barrier to do that.
Yeah, it takes, first of all, having the talent, and one way to get talent is to have a feeder program, and it takes coaching. You're talking about this team passing the ball and the boys passing the ball. Many times it's like they're putting on a clinic out there. People are playing their position. I remember a long time ago when I went to my first college game back when Dick Van Heusen was playing for Champlain College. He was a junior All-American goalie after competing at Champlain Central. And I couldn't believe the difference, and this is just the junior college level, but the difference in how they approached the game. The players were in position and not all chasing after the ball.
Well, one thing I noticed nowadays at the boys and girls level is the skill level of these players. And I'm not just talking Chazy, I'm talking Northeastern, I'm talking PHS, all these different teams that I've seen around through the last 4 or 5 years. The skill level is just a different level. I mean, I can remember back, Calvin, when I was playing soccer, which I didn't play much of, but I remember in 7th and 8th grade we were ball boys. And I remember Rick Frisbee teaching the freshmen on how to trap a ball. Freshmen in high school were being taught how to trap a ball. You saw today at halftime, we have 3- and 4-year-olds out there learning how to trap a ball.
Yeah, they're learning right from an age when they're still learning how to run, learning how to run and kick the ball. And it's being done here, and it's being done at a lot of places. And soccer is becoming, never at the professional level, but certainly at the youth level, it's become our national sport in many ways.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is because you get a lot of kids out there at one time. So, if you can run and work on some skills, basketball, there's only 5 players out at one time, and it makes it very difficult. You can't really have a big squad on a basketball team. I mean, you're playing, 8-minute quarters? You're only talking 32 minutes for a game. And, a basketball team, probably 12 or 13 is probably the most as far as players that will play, I would guess.
Yep. For years I felt that we would have more success, and we've lost a lot of teams at the grasshopper and other levels in baseball, softball. I felt the boys ought to have the option of having a softball league. The men would be out there. My kid's got to be a pitcher at age 10. Try to hit that hard ball being thrown at as hard as the other 10-year-old can do it. But he's out there playing slow pitch softball. Well, if trying to hit a baseball is so much fun, why wasn't he out playing baseball? He's playing slow pitch, and he wants his kid to hit baseball. Well, let his kid play softball and have some fun too.
But, even softball, of course, now we're getting away from the high school level, but, that has kind of gone away. There's only really, there's 2 leagues, I guess, the Sunday League, and they have the one down in West Plattsburgh. But the guys that are winning down there are guys that I played with 20 years ago who are in their 40s, and you don't see the younger kids coming up like you did back when we came through.
No, I think they haven't had the opportunity to succeed in the sport, and they've lost interest in that sport. And it's a shame because baseball at the professional level is still my favorite sport, and it's a shame that these kids aren't getting an opportunity to succeed. And I think hitting a baseball doesn't give you that all the time. Hitting a softball, slow pitch, does give you that opportunity to succeed.
That is true. And and baseball too. in some aspects, when we had the Montreal Expos 45 minutes away, you lose that. Yeah, I think you've been there once or twice before. And like you say, we love going to baseball games up there, and it was a shame that we lost them. Oh, there's a nice goal by 14 Madeline Gay. I think that's who scored it. Shawnee Trombley, okay. Shawnee Trombley got it, a nice feed to her, and she finished. And the score now is 6-0. We're at the 28-minute and 23-second mark of the second half. And, it's 22 shots to 0. We've had 3 corner kicks to their 0. And you look at that board, and it's nothing but goose eggs. And it's got to be a long night for Bolton to come down here and have this happen to them.
And drive home after. That's the hard part.
Yeah. Helen Drew was moved back after she got her 5th goal of the night. She was moved back to the halfback position, and basically, I think, told by Coach Doolin, just pass the ball around and try to spread the wealth, as Calvin said earlier, and give some other people an opportunity. And Shawnee Trombley had that opportunity and put it into the back of the net and increased the score to 6-0. And Madeline Gay just let a shot rip wide of the net. You heard it from the crowd, kind of groan on that one. It was a beautiful shot, but wide, very hard. And if it would have been on net, that probably would have found the back of the net. But it will be Bolton with a goal kick, and I'm just impressed. I mean, we're getting almost to the second half of half part of the second half, and they still have not given up a shot, and that's no shot in 2 games, Calvin. I mean, that's kind of unheard of.
Does that count as a shutout for Casey Olds?
I would assume it would. I mean, and the Chazy team this year has only given up 1 goal. And that was to their rival E-Town down in E-Town, which Chazy won 4-1. And so they've given up 1 goal all year. And I mean, it's almost, you're almost counting the shots on net, not much less goals.
I think it'd be better for Casey if she got a shot on her once in a while, because she needs to practice.
Well, she's got to be bored there tonight. If you can get a shot of her there, I think she's just hoping somebody comes down her way.
Tonight's a pleasant night. Last night I was taping the game at Northeastern, the JV game, and it was miserable out there. And the goalie, it was a one-sided game like that.
Yeah, but at Northeastern, I mean, I went to school there, Calvin. That is like a wind pit where that field is. That wind whips through there, and its prevailing winds come from the west, and it can get nasty this time of year when that wind's blowing.
Yeah, luckily it didn't rain. It rained earlier in the day, and it didn't rain at soccer time. But it was a cool night there last night. So it's tough on the goalie when they're on a cool night. Then all of a sudden they got to get into action in a close game. If sometimes a team will dominate and they'll take a lot of shots and nothing goes in, and the goalie's at the other end, and all of a sudden the other team's coming at her or him, and he's stiff as a board out there, or she's stiff as a board out there, and it's tough to gear up and make the save.
As you're talking, I mean, you're also opening yourself to a possible injury. If you got to make a quick move and you aren't loosened up. I mean, look at Casey here on camera, and boy, she's got to be bored right now. I mean, there has been literally no shots on net, and we're 15 minutes into the second half, and she hasn't had a shot on net in 2 days.
Why should stay home next time?
Oh, there's a nice shot by Bridget Dahl, and we got a wholesale change coming in here for Chazy. And Coach Doolin did a wholesale change. He had Gabby Whedon come in, Ashley Levine, Heather Gay, and Allie Mitchell coming in for Chazy. Dana Ledoux has the ball now. And Coach Doolin is substituting freely right now with a 6-0 lead and no shots on net. And, of course, we've kind of been hammering that the last few minutes. But Chazy has 22 shots on net and 3 corner kicks, and we see nothing but goose eggs over on the Bolton side of the board. But one thing is, it is a very pleasant night for a soccer game, Calvin.
Those are eagle eggs.
That's appropriately said. But it is a beautiful night for a soccer game, isn't it, though?
It's a beautiful night for anything. It's a very pleasant evening in the North Country. And when, particularly earlier when the sun was still up and looking at the fall foliage, it was a very pleasant day.
It's hard to believe, but tomorrow's October 1st, and the year seems to be going by fast. But as we get older, Calvin, I guess it does seem to go by faster as we get older. And we're going to be October 1st tomorrow.
Yep, it's like somebody hit your fast forward button, and all of a sudden your tape went very fast.
That is so true. I remember Dad telling me that. You wait till you get older, Joey. You'll see how fast it goes. And of course, you think he's just talking, like, yeah, okay, Dad. And then here you are years later, as you approach your middle years, as I'll call it. You come to appreciate those words of wisdom. Well, we got a breakaway here. I think that's Bridget Dahl. Oh, wow, she hammered the back. Oh, she hit the goal post twice. Oh, my God. Lightning usually doesn't strike twice, but it did for Bridget Dahl there, Calvin.
Didn't she learn the first time that you can't score off the post? You got to put it between the posts?
But, Calvin, it was the same post. I think she got mad the first time and said, I'm going to show you this time.
Right.
And that post won out again. So right now it's the post 2, Bridget Dahl, nothing. Morgan Rusi waiting patiently to go into the game right now. We'll have to figure out who she's subbing in for. Maybe she'll tell us.
Maddie.
She's going in for Maddie. That'd be Madeline Gay. We heard it straight from Morgan Rusi. Calvin's got her on camera. She might do a little wave for us here. And she does. There's Morgan Rusi. The freshman, and quite an accomplishment for Morgan Rusi to be on the varsity level. Says a lot about her ability. She does a nice job for him. I've talked about this before on camera with Sam when he was on the camera. And when you're up in those stands and you look this way, it's almost looking like a field of dreams, doesn't it, within the cornfields like this?
I've never been in the stands.
That's true. Yeah, you never would be. Well, one of these days before the game, just go up there and just take a look out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And, of course, Staub's always good for a laugh, and he goes, if you build it, they will come.
That's very original.
Actually, I think Staub said he might come here for the boys' game, but that will remain to be seen. Both his sons are not playing tonight. They're on injured reserve list, if you will. You had Jacob get hurt in the Crown Point game, and last night in Potsdam, Jordan pulled a hamstring. So we got both the Spiegel boys sitting down at tonight's game later on. We got Marie Trombley ready to check in, and Alex Jeffords. All right, we have about 20 minutes left here in the game. Chazy's up 6-0. They've been substituting freely, which is good to see these other kids get in. Because quite frankly, Calvin, you never know when somebody might get hurt, and you got to call on somebody to step up.
It's true. We've seen it so many times, and you can't count on a player or a couple of players. You never know what could happen. And no matter what sport you're in, there's times that your best player might get hurt or might get shut down. The other team's able to shut your player down, and then you got to have Plan B.
Well, not only Plan B for this year, but when you're playing these girls now, that builds up for them for next year, and they'll be just that much better player when next year rolls around.
And it may be sacrilege to say it during a Chazy soccer game, but I've seen so many games in the last 20 some odd years that if I didn't know it before, I certainly know it now. That winning is nice, but it sure isn't everything. It's how you treat the kids, and it's the memories they get are more important than the titles.
Well, you're right. I mean, it's and we talked about this earlier. It's a balancing act, and if you're a kind of a coach that can figure that balancing act out, where you're getting the kids in, you still have success and win, then it's a win-win for everybody.
But far too many coaches think it's just the bottom line. They all sometimes they think they're working for George Steinbrenner. Winning isn't the important thing at the high school level, particularly in the modified and JV level. Those are particular learning times. But even at the varsity level, winning is nice, but not at the expense of mistreating a kid.
Well, you know where you really see it. I mean, I guess there was an episode up today at the tournament. Of course, I won't get into any names, but where one coach at a Pee-wee level is, taking it a little more serious than it really needs to be. I mean, these kids here, you're trying to teach them the skill level, trying to teach them even where to stand, their positions. And, at the end of the day, who cares who won a Pee-wee game? And quite frankly, in the big picture, who cares who wins any soccer game, I guess. But at that level, you're teaching those kids how to play the game, and all those kids should play. And if they make a mistake, you don't get down on a kid. Or you get on a kid who's a referee in the game, and get on them because they might have made a bad call.
No, up until this year at Moore's tournament, it was just you'd play 2 games and that was it. Nobody won, nobody lost as far as the standings. This year they decided to make it further, make it into a championship situation at the higher level. And when you do that, you're always opening it up for those people who are like that really think it's important. They're going to add that to their resume, I guess. We won a soccer game at Pee-wee level.
Well, especially at that level, you got kids reffing kids, and then the kid that's reffing, hey, they're trying to do the best they can. They're learning from it, and and if a kid does make a mistake as a coach, you just say, maybe next time you might want to consider doing this. I mean, they're learning too, and it doesn't help their psyche to be screamed at by a coach. They may not want to do it again.
Yeah, it's. But you find that all sports at all levels, and it's sad that some people don't get the big picture.
No, that's for sure. And and there are so many positives to team sports, much more than an individual sport. I've played both, and boy, there's just something to be said when you're on a team, and when you can work together and enjoy the successes and the failures as a team. Well, there looks like an easy goal for Victoria, and
it was after the ball broke loose, yeah, and she hurdled the keeper.
Yeah, and she's a freshman. That was pretty heads-up play by Victoria. But it's almost second nature for us to see that. We've seen it for 2 years now, and actually, I've seen it on the lower level as she was going up through the ranks, through the different levels. And she is a gifted athlete, and you just saw it there. She high hurdled the goalie, if you will, and it popped out, and she was there, and she put it in. I think I just heard Coach Newman say something like "no more" or something. I don't think. I don't know. It's 7-0, and I think he really does want to move it around to some other girls, and for a person who comes off the bench, if you want to call them the reserve squad, it's nice for them to get a goal and have their parents in the stand to see that, because it doesn't happen often for them.
That's right, and that goal will probably mean a lot more to them than it does to the kid who scores hundreds of them.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of funny I don't know if you know, I'm sure you probably have, but sitting up here, you always notice whenever Chazy's on the offense, look where all the fans are. Now, the first half, they were all down that end. This half, they're all on this end. So they all want to get closer to the action, if you will.
Even Debbie Olds is down at that end.
She should be down at this end, keeping her daughter company down here. She's getting bored over there. Well, it's 27 shots to nothing now, and I guess... Chazy's a very good team, but I guess what I'm impressed with is that you can go 2 games and not give up a shot. That just blows my mind. And coming into the game was Shawnee Trombley and Caitlin Halley came into the game. I noticed Goodrow came off. I'm not sure who the other one was. That was Brittany Goodrow who came off, and Halley went in her place, but I did not see who came off when Shawnee Trombley went in. And actually, she might have went in for Helen Giroux. I don't see Helen out there. So the night might be done for Helen with 13 minutes to go. She went to the halfback position early in the second half after she got her 5th goal of the night. I mean, she had 10 points tonight, Calvin, and there are players that don't see 10 points in a career.
Yeah. And again, she'll be honored following the game with I'm not sure. I think it's a game ball that all her teammates have signed, and Coach Dumoulin has been working very hard to keep that away from her, so she doesn't know that she's going to be getting that game ball, and honoring her as the all-time leading scorer in Section 7.
Well, while we were talking, Chazy did another wholesale change. Just some numbers I noticed. Kirsten Parker has gone in the game, and Katrina Reynolds, and I'm not sure who the other ones were. Those were just the numbers I picked up on as they were running out there. If I see some new faces, I'll bring it out for you to let you know who's there. Bolton Landing's got to be, what, about an hour and a half ride up here?
Yeah, that's why I had mentioned going to Warrensburg. It's a lot closer, I think, to Warren County. It's right on the edge there of Essex County. It might even be, I think it is in Warren County, in fact. I think when I was at the Lake George Village Interpretive Center, Welcome Center, I'm pretty sure Bolton was listed as one of the communities in Warrensburg, in Warren County.
If you've never been to the Bolton area, it is a beautiful area in the summertime anyway, and even in the fall with the foliage. But we've gone there through there a couple times, and it is a beautiful area. Okay, that would have been Jessie Mae Blake. Kirsten Parker. Parker's got the ball. Kirsten Parker giving chase, and the ball has been cleared. And it's nice to see some fresh faces out there for Chazy. Let me just see if I can see some new numbers out there.
Wait.
Was it a shot on net?
Yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't call that.
action, all right.
Gets to touch the ball, so we probably should.
Chelsea House, I see number 21, Chelsea House is in the game right now. She's giving chase. Jessie Blake went back into the game. Victoria Reynolds has the ball. She sends it up. Morgan Rusi, she's going hard. She could get a goal here. Just missed it, but the goalie came out nicely. White hold. And be direct kick for Bolton. Morgan Rusi went hard at it, but Fitzgerald came out for Bolton, made a nice play, and knocked it away. No, they didn't consider that a shot on net, Calvin. I still see a goose egg over there, or I should say an eagle egg, as you would say.
No, it wasn't a shot. It was a pass that deflected off a Chazy player and went toward the keeper Old. So it wasn't a shot. It was they were passing, hoping to get a shot. And so even though Olds had to handle it, there's no way you could count it.
Well, it was nice to hear a little bit of action anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Well, just under 10 minutes left to go, and I guess what we've seen all year, and I guess that probably proves why they're #1 ranked team in the state right now, is from the performance we're seeing tonight. They've been very, very impressive, and it's a combination of them being very good and Bolton not playing that well, or they aren't playing that well because Chazy's make them not play that well. I don't know. What do you think?
It's hard to tell at any level. it's the competition at that level, and you have to see a tougher competition to get a feel of, just how dominant. Obviously, when Chazy is beating everybody like this, you have to assume that they are dominant. But as far as Bolton, I don't know how they're doing this year or what the record is.
Well, we have Gabby Whedon and Samantha O'Hagan getting ready to check in here at the 8-minute 22-second mark, and they're going to be waiting for their opportunity to get back into the game. Chazy controlling the ball like they have the whole game. It's been mostly in the offensive end for Chazy. It's just one of those games where domination is prevailing for Chazy. And the thing is, they've dominated rotating their bench through the whole game, basically. And no matter who they put into the game, they've still dominated the game. Even with this big victory, Chazy is still hustling to the ball, which gives credit to the coaching staff. No matter who he puts out there, they're all hustling, trying to do the best job that they can. And it doesn't matter who they have out there. Number 25 for Chazy, Whitney Wilson, out there getting touch on the ball, keeping it at the midfield mark. Well, we got a rush going here. Will this be the first shot in 2 games? Boy, good defense by Shawnee Trombley. She doesn't want her to get that shot off. And Chazy's clearing it out. Looks like Morgan Rusi looking around, makes the move, has some open field, dribbling the ball, sends it up. Chelsea House giving chase. Looks like a foul called on Chelsea House. I'm not sure what happened there, but Jim Lacey saw a foul. He calls it, and it'll be a kick for Bolton with 6 minutes to go here in the second half. Chazy with a commanding 7-0 lead, and probably more impressive, outshooting their opponent 27-0. We have Bridget Dahl and we have Brittany Goodrow, as well as Madeline Gay getting ready to check back into the game.
Sometimes the defense scores and it's called an own goal. I suppose it'd be possible if Chazy put in an own goal that Bolton could have a goal without taking a shot.
Well, Calvin, there's been stranger things that have happened on the sports fields in all levels. So who knows? Now, Larry Bayshard was right there, and Jim Lacey was 45 yards away.
That's Jim Lacey. Here's a shot.
Would that be considered a shot?
I'll call it a shot.
Let's put the one on the board here. Let's see what they do. That was a shot at the net, right?
Yeah.
It was... Yeah. There it is. All right, let's get it, Calvin. Now, it wasn't anywhere near goalie Casey Olds, but it was a shot on net.
I think that Jim Lacey wanted to see the Bolton get a shot up there, and that's why he called that.
You could be right.
But you never know what Jim's going to say when he blows that whistle. It's not always what you think it is.
What's that?
You never know what he's going to say when he blows that whistle. It's not always what you think it's going to be.
Well, I just thought it was kind of funny that Larry Bayshard was 10 yards away and he was 50 yards away and he made that call.
Well, that's what he does. That's his modus operandi. It's called embarrassing the other ref.
Yeah, well, Kirsten Parker with the ball, looking to pass it up to the wing. And Jesse Blake sends it to the center. Whitney Wilson making a move for the ball, and it's been cleared away. And 15 for Chazy is Katrina Reynolds. She's out there. And a nice move there. That's trying to get the number, who that is. I think it was Whitney Wilson. A hair over 3 minutes to go here in the second half. Chazy will still maintain their undefeated record, and I'm sure they'll maintain the state ranking as #1, and that is quite an accomplishment for these girls, making it to the Final Four last year, and built on that, and they're just having so far a very phenomenal season. Well, we're at the 2-minute mark, and I guess this game probably couldn't end soon enough now.
I think if the final horn blew right now, there wouldn't be too many disappointed people. Maybe a few of the kids were relishing their playing time out there, but the fans, the rest of the rest of the team, I don't think anybody would be too disappointed.
Well, this game hasn't been in doubt. Probably, 10 minutes into the game, you kind of had a good feeling it would be another Chazy victory. They were controlling the tempo of the game, and a couple Helen Giroux goals within the 10-minute mark area gave Chazy control, and they never relinquished it. And, I think it kind of probably broke the sails of Bolton, quite frankly.
Yeah, if they weren't down after the first couple goals, like when the penalty kick went in, that was the final nail that they needed.
Well, we got about a minute left to go here, and after this game, we have the boys of Chazy, who are also ranked #1 in the state, and of course they're the 2-time defending state champions, and they're going up against the Bolton boys. And my understanding is Bolton is one of the stronger teams in the South, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how that game turns out tonight. Calvin, there has literally been soccer games all day today in Chazy, as well as Morris, as we talked about earlier. And the game comes to a conclusion with Chazy winning 7-0. The shots on net were 28-1, and actually the one shot that Bolton had kind of went over the net by about 20 yards. Chazy had the corner kicks 5-0. And we'll be getting ready for a special tribute to the all-time leading goal scorer, Helen Giroux. She does not know what's going on right now, but there will be a presentation made to her, and Calvin will catch that on tape in a minute.
And as Joey said, we've moved down below. There is our play-by-play man, Joey Trombley. In the back of the sign that says George Brendler Field, dedicated almost a year ago. Now we're going to listen to Coach Joe Dumoulin. And
Come on, Coach, you got to shake him up, baby.
Superintendent Kevin Mulligan bringing the microphone out.
At this time, we are going to have a special presentation. It's going to be made at this time by Mr. Joe Doolin, the coach for the Chazy girls soccer team. Thank you, sir. Helen, would you come over here, please? Please forgive me if this seems a little rough. I'm a little nervous talking to all of you. I'm used to talking to 7th graders, but it's a little nerve-wracking. We're here to have the privilege of being here to honor Helen Drew, who last Saturday against St. Lawrence broke the Section 7 girls scoring record for any size school. And that's a great accomplishment, and I'm sure that you'd like to hear the numbers. As of today, with the goals she got today, she has 319 points, 136 goals, 47 assists. Kelly O'Connell held the record back in the early 90s. She was from Seton. She had 285 points. So she held that record a long time, and Helen is really adding on to it. I've been coaching Helen since 8th grade. There's been some progression, 2 goals in 8th grade, 16 and 9, 29 and 10, 48 and 11. She has 41 goals today. There may be a few more left in those old legs. Helen will be the first to tell you that she wouldn't be standing here being honored if it wasn't for all the great teammates that she has played with, including the she's been on teams that have been great. 3 of them went to the Final Four. Great players in all of them. And I always like to remind the girls that the best definition of a great player is a player who helps to make your team good. And Helen has done that. She has done that for years. So Helen, we have something to give you. My assistant, Jesse Trombley. You can see that is a ball from New York State. It is it's signed by all your teammates and your coaches. It is a state ball that we took from the Chazy game to states last year. Chazy was undefeated, so we played them. We were the fastest underdog. The score was 1-0, and Helen Drew scored that goal. Helen, you have done such a great job, and I know there are plenty of memories that you're going to make in the future. Maybe this will just help you remember those memories that you've made so far. Congratulations.
And she had no speech prepared. So that's it. That's Hometown Cable's coverage of this Chazy Bolton game, and the nightcap closing it up is honoring Helen Drew, the leading scorer all time. Thanks for watching and for supporting Hometown Cable.